Welcome back to Tuba Christmas 2013. We're so happy to have you with us, and we're so happy to be a part of this event. I won't waste any more time. I'm going to turn it over to our Master of Ceremonies for this evening. He's the retired principal tubist for the National Symphony Orchestra. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome David Burguigner.
Thanks, Matt, and hello, everyone, and a Merry Tuba Christmas to you. This is the biggest ever aggregation of tubas that we've ever had here. We have almost 400 of us up here. You know, I love this season of the year, and I've played and sung in many Christmas concerts, but this is the event that really gets me going for Christmas, and I hope it does for you too. This year is a special treat for me. Harvey Phillips, the originator of Tuba Christmas, and I had a couple of things in common. We both took lessons with William Bell, who was considered to be the guru of our instrument. But I'll tell you more about that later. We both served in the we both served in the United States Army Field Band out here at Fort Meade. So, the special treat is that I'm happy to welcome our conductor for this year, the commander of the United States Army Field Band, Colonel Timothy Holton. Well, we'll get started with the carols right away. Our first carol is from England back in the 1800s and is a special invitation to all of us at this time of year. It's "O Come All Ye Faithful." Now, here's what we're going to do. We play the carols through once, and then we hope you'll sing along. The second time we play it through. This is for almost all of them. And I'm going to get you started, but I'm going to drop out pretty soon after we start, and I hope to hear some wonderful singing from the audience. And we have one rule. We don't allow any lip syncing. No pretending, no pretending. So, I think you all know the words to these, so here we are. "O Come All Ye Faithful." Well, that was pretty good, but maybe we can do just a little bit better. I think we need a little warm-up. You know, Washington, D.C. area is called the choral capital of the world. There are at least 5 wonderful symphonic-sized choruses here in town and many wonderful church choirs and small chamber choruses. And I sing in a group over here in Virginia called Choralis. Now, before every choir rehearsal and every concert, we always have a warm-up. And the next one is a good warm-up because the words are very easy. Fa la 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 la. Let's see. Fa la 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 la. Did I leave one out? Oh, okay. Very good. So this is Deck the Halls with Boughs of Holly. Just great. Now, did you notice that last note? We love, tuba players, we love to play. Some of us can play almost off the end of the piano. So that last note, we're going to have the colonel just have them play that last note and let you hear that one more time. Just the last note. Ah, there we are. Well, the next piece, we're going to feature the low instruments with a melody, and it's God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. Now, I did a little studying about the Christmas carols, and I looked on Wikipedia for God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, and on there they explained every word of God Rest Ye. They had a big explanation for every word, and I thought, no, I'm not going to use any of that material. What I like about the first line of it is, let nothing you dismay. And that's what we need at this time of year. Let nothing you dismay. God rest ye merry gentlemen. Instruments. We weren't invented till 1850 or so when they invented valves. So the tuba players, for the most part, we've never played Mozart and Haydn and Beethoven. And we've had to develop all of our own literature. So there are only two instruments that are named after the folks that invented them. One is the saxophone, invented by Adolphe Sax, and the other is the sousaphone, which was invented for John Philip Sousa's band. And if you look across the back there, this is the first time that I remember that we've been able to actually spell out Tuba Christmas back there. All right. Fantastic. All right. Our next carol comes from England in the 1500s, and it really sets the scene for Christmas night. It's called The First Noel, the angels did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields where they lay. You'll notice I start singing, but sometimes I have to drop out because these carols were written for euphoniums, baritone horns, and tubas, and sometimes they go a little high for me, so I don't try that. Okay. It seems that a lot of the carols that we're doing tonight have come from Europe, but this next one is an American carol. A minister in Philadelphia he wanted to go to Bethlehem to visit, and he stood up on a hill overlooking the town of Bethlehem, and he was so moved by the scene of the city at night that he wrote the wonderful carol, "O Little Town of Bethlehem." Well, I always like to spend just a couple of minutes with these concerts telling our audience how exactly this wonderful tradition got started. And did we mention this is the 40th anniversary of Tuba Christmas? Harvey Phillips was a wonderful soloist. He played in many orchestras, and he was a student of William Bell. We called him Bill Bell, and back in 1974, Harvey got the idea that he would like to honor Mr. Bell, who had died in 1971. Mr. Bell was not only a renowned and respected teacher, but he had also played in the John Philip Sousa Band, the NBC Symphony, and when Harvey studied with him, he played in the New York Philharmonic Orchestra. Since Mr. Bell had been born on Christmas Day in 1902, what better way to honor him than arrangements of Christmas carols? Well, Harvey was an idea man. He got this great idea, and then he thinks, but we don't have any music. So he went to his good friend Alec Wilder, and he arranged these wonderful carols. Harvey he had these grand ideas. So then, once he had the music written, where in the world can you play with such a group like that? So he got, the brilliant idea that they should play in Rockefeller Center on the ice rink. Well, Rockefeller Center didn't exactly go for the idea at first, but Harvey, in his own way, called some of his friends, Leonard Bernstein, Leopold Stokowski, and a few other of his well-known friends, and by magic, the ice rink at Rockefeller Center became available. There are 275 Tuba Christmases all over the world. When Harvey and I were in school in the 1950s, there were only two major pieces written for the tuba, and he took it upon himself to encourage composers. I think encourage is a little soft. He got them by the scruff of the neck and had them write compositions for the tuba. And now there are hundreds and hundreds of pieces written for solo tuba and tuba in many other combinations. So we do, those of us who are tuba players owe him a debt of gratitude. So it's sad, but Harvey passed away in October of 2010. So we would like to dedicate this next piece to him. This is not a sing-along one. This is Lo How a Rose, the wonderful carol. Thank you. And by the way, those of you tuba players who registered, You know, Harvey's wife, Carol, and son, Tom, were out here helping to register. So they're here. We're honored to have them visiting today. They visit here, New York, and Chicago. They always go. You know, the tuba is kind of an underdog. And we sort of love underdogs in this country. And as you can see, this hasn't deterred people from taking up the instrument. When Harvey and I were in junior high school, back then, we both started in the 7th grade. Back then, the tuba player was the guy who couldn't quite make it on French horn, and there was an extra sousaphone in the closet, and they'd give it to him. In my case, they came around to my 7th grade class and asked if anyone would like to play the school's sousaphone. I had wanted to play an instrument all through elementary school. I didn't even know what a sousaphone was. So when people ask me, why did I choose the tuba? I say, no, no, no. The tuba chose me. So one of the things that makes this wonderful event is the combination of players here today. We have professionals, amateurs, enthusiasts, students, retired players. They're all sitting next to one another and learning from one another. But we always honor the youngest and the most mature. So for the youngest, we have, going to ask him to stand up and take a bow, is Guy Cardwell, 8 years old. Right, hold up. And for the most mature, we have Joe Lear, age 89. Do you know, last year, Joe couldn't make it. I came very near to being the oldest one. So thank heavens, Joe, keep coming back. So you see a lot of young people up here. What a better way to get a young person involved in something at school. Do you know, there's only 9 guys on a baseball team. There's only 11 on a football team. You know, but the band, there's 100 of them out there. They have their own team. So what my message is, and you can see the result here, all these wonderful young players up here, keep insisting that music be a part of the public schools. Please. Now we're going to our next carol, Angels We Have Heard on High. we're going to take a bow. All right. Thank you. Thank you. And the audience should also take a bow too, because this is the largest audience for Tuba Christmas. We draw the largest audience of the year for the Millennium stage concert. Congratulations to you too. Now I'd like to just acknowledge, just for a second, the service folks up here. As I mentioned, both Harvey and I served in the United States Army Field Band, but we have represented here, of course, the Field Band, the Air Force Band. Hold it. Yep. Yes. Air Force Band, Marine Band. All right. The United States Army Band. Yes. And the United States Navy Band. All right. So I'd like to have them just, if it's not too much trouble, guys, I'd like to have them and any veterans in the group playing back there. Would the veterans please stand up? Thanks, fellas. Thank you. Thank you. So what we'd like to do with this next piece is honor all those who serve in harm's way, first responders, and so on. It's a wonderful hymn. It's a silent night. And for me, the best part of this hymn is the last line in that, sleep in heavenly peace, and isn't that what we all want? We want to have peace. So this is Silent Night. Well, you know, the tuba and all brass instruments have many parts to them. We have the mouthpiece, we have then what's called the lead pipe, we have the valves, and so on and so forth. There are many parts to it, particularly the tuba. But one thing they all have is called a bell. Well, this next piece is a very good song for us because this is the Carol of the Bells, and we don't sing along on this one. Well, with such a huge group and so spread out like this, we are so happy that we can begin together and end together. And to help us do that, we have back here another conductor, Jonathan Phillips, who's helping the sousaphones back there stay with us, and we're indebted to him. Well, we're going to lighten things up a little bit now, and I think we're going to talk about Santa Claus, and I'm going to ask Jack Tilbury to come up here. Jack was the Sergeant Major of the United States Army Band. He's retired. Now, that's the good news and the bad news. It's all good news. However, his being retired makes me feel kind of funny because Jack was my student at Catholic University just a couple of years ago, of course. So you know you're getting up in years when your students start retiring. So Jack, take it over.
Well, you know, Santa brings toys to good girls and boys. He does it year after year. But who would have thought that old Santa's got his own special wish for Christmas cheer? Santa wants a tuba for Christmas. He knows playing tuba is fun. Santa wants a tuba for Christmas, but who's gonna give him one? Santa wants a tuba for Christmas, a bright, shiny tuba to play. Santa wants a tuba for Christmas, so please won't you send one his way? Santa knows the tuba blows the jolliest sound you'll hear. What he's hoping to see waiting under his tree is a tuba to toot when he's finished his route. Santa wants a tuba for Christmas. He never got a present before. Santa wants a tuba for Christmas. That's all that he ever asked for. That's all that he ever asked for. Well, you know, old Santa, he goes around and gives presents to all the girls and boys, but wouldn't it be great if just one Christmas when he comes home, under the tree would be waiting for him a big, bright, shiny tuba with a big red bow on it. Well, I happen to know Santa's a pretty good tuba player. He'd pick up that tuba and he'd start playing, and you know what? He'd sound a lot like Brian Sands from the Air Force Band. Santa wants a tuba for Christmas. He never got a present before. Santa wants a tuba for Christmas. It's all that he ever asked for. It's all that he ever asked for. Will Santa get a tuba in his stocking this year? Yeah!
Well, I've told you the youngest and the most mature, but this year we've asked everybody to come up here, tell us how far they've come to play this Tuba Christmas. And we've had people from Cleveland, up in New Hampshire, Massachusetts, but we do have someone here from Los Angeles, California, Dominic Bonaducci. Well, at this point, now this is going to take me a couple of minutes, but I have asked the folks to let me know what school groups are here. And again, what I was talking about, let's keep music in our public schools. This is a wonderful testimony that how this works, because I'm going to read these off. It's going to take me a couple of minutes, but I think this is just wonderful. We have, and you folks can hold up your instruments when I read your school here. John Champ High School, Aldie, Virginia, back there somewhere. Okay. Milford, Delaware Community Band. All right. Parkview High School. T.C. Williams High School. Fauquier County brought 60 students here. Fauquier County. Longfellow Middle School. Loudoun County. All right. Hershey Christian School, clear from Hershey, Pennsylvania. Yes. The Washington Irving Middle School. Benton Middle School. All right. Stonewall Jackson High School in Manassas. Battlefield Middle School. Hadley High School in Winchester. Daniel Morgan Middle School from Winchester. Blue Ridge Middle School. Loudoun Valley High School. Marshall Middle School. Alexandria City, all right. Alexandria City Public Schools. Seneca Ridge Middle School. And Robinson Middle School. Robinson Secondary School. Well, here's one of my favorite parts of the show. This is, we're going to do Jingle Bells. And I have done a little recruiting when we took our break. So those kids, some of those, let's get some kids up here and see if we can't do Jingle Bells. Come one, come all here. Here we go. Just, I've talked to the kids. I've been recruiting. I was also a personnel manager for quite a few of my years, so I know a little bit about recruiting. Here we go. Let me get this out of the way. All right. We ready? Come on. Can we move around just a little bit? Move around just a little bit. Okay. Yeah. In two. Jingle bell, jingle bell Now we're going to do Hark the Herald Angels Sing. Well, we've had a great time up here, and all of us would like to wish you a Merry Tuba Christmas. And I'd like to give a special thanks, well, to all the school groups who came, but a special thanks, once again, give it up for the service folks that came today. All right. And a special thanks to Colonel Timothy Holton. He did a fantastic job. We love having him here. So on behalf of the Kennedy Center, I'd like to thank you all for coming. We have one more carol to do, and that is Joy to the World.
Thank you very much. It is such a pleasure to come and be here with nearly 400 tubas and euphoniums. My first experience was about 28 years ago when I got to do this when I was a public school teacher. And it was fun to see the eyes light up, the smiles on the faces, both of the players and of those who came to listen to the players. So it is my great pleasure to be associated with these wonderful musicians who gave their time, paid their parking, you all know how that works, and came down here to join together in an initiative, 40 years of love and tribute to a wonderful man. Harvey Phillips is a real special man for all of the initiatives he's begun, and there are lots of students in this group of Harvey that live on today. So thank you for all of the efforts to bring your students, your significant others, and to come and sit and listen, because it's been our pleasure to play for you. And we have one last selection. So thank you, Dave. Wonderful job in organization, because if it weren't for this man, this wouldn't be happening. Dave Burgundy.
This one needs no introduction, this one.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for coming.